Hi, Gary Hinderberg here, co-author of Online Video Marketing Deep Dive. In today's presentation, we're going to talk to you about the use of principles from video sales letters and how you can use those in your online video programming to make what you do stronger, more compelling, and generate more sales for you. So let's get right into it. Number one, classic copywriting formulas are important in video sales letter copy. You know, it's really hard sometimes to get started and to know where to begin in a video, and having written many of them myself, I know that's a real challenge. But if you go back to the formulas as your foundation, it will make your life easier. So here are just a few examples of formulas that I found that really work. Number one, the power of one. In that particular formula, it is one big idea. It can be one core conviction or core emotion, or it's just simply one thing at a time. Another formula that I really like is the four-legged stool. With this formula, you have one big idea, a promise, credibility, and a proven track record. The interesting thing about the four-legged stool is that if you have all four of these working together, then the legs are all sturdy, the stool stands, and it gets the reader or the listener into your program. Another formula that I like to use is called the 4 U's. With this one, the headline has elements that show how the product or the service is useful, unique, that it has urgency, that is the urgency to order now, and it's ultra specific. And finally, I'd want to add that most successful lead types feature an offer or a promise, a problem and a solution, an invitation, a story maybe that begins in the middle. And in fact, I would submit that a story that begins in the middle with a video can actually be very interesting. It's a part of storytelling, so you might want to actually test that at some point in one of your video sales presentations. And then finally, of course, maybe you share a secret or you make a prediction as part of that headline. Just one last thing on copywriting formulas is the use of golden threads. That is that continual same words that are part of the idea. That's that big idea that we've talked about here in a couple of these formulas. That big idea that keeps threading its way through the entire story. Let's go on to number 2. You, the marketer, control the pace. You know, oftentimes videos are on autoplay. I know that's annoying to a lot of us, but the video just simply starts. The other thing that happens sometimes is the viewer doesn't have the option to rewind or fast forward the video. And oftentimes these videos don't show you the amount of time that's left. So you don't know whether you have 30 seconds, 3 minutes, or 30 minutes. But a lot of marketers have learned how to make that happen. Number 3 in the techniques that you can take away from online video sales letters is the flow and pace are nuanced in video sales letters, because words on paper don't always read as well as when they are spoken. It's important. I think that one of the things that's important for you, if you're a writer, if you're the marketer, whatever your role is, you need to hear the video read aloud, the video script read aloud. I believe in having at least a couple of other people who are on a telephone call. I think telephone works really well because you're focusing in on what you were hearing by telephone. But read through that script and you will be amazed at how you start really changing words in the flow so that nuance really works. Be careful with adjectives and superlatives and repetition of thought. There are certain words that you want to use sparingly. One that just comes to mind that I did just very recently for a video voiceover was the word proprietary appeared twice in a particular paragraph, which seemed to be fine at the time it was written in printed word. But after getting into the voiceover and voicing it, it didn't sound right, so it made sense to pull out one of those. So be mindful of when you maybe overuse a word or a phrase of some kind. Number 4, you can energize your video by having a persona as part of it. And by that, I mean the voiceover, the message is energized, certain words are emphasized. You can do that with a voiceover where you, so of course, cannot do that when you have a printed word. The persona needs to be someone who might be a customer. It might be somebody just like your prospective buyer is going to be. It might be someone who has some level of authority or some level of credibility. The other thing is the persona can be relaxed. The persona can be really hyper. The persona can be very credible and have a very authoritative sound to it. All of those are things that you can do with vocal inflection to make that whole message delivered much, much stronger for you. And finally, be careful of the silky smooth voice that we've heard so often on radio and television. They are very soothing, they are very calming, but you do run a little bit of a peril, I believe, with online video when you use a silky smooth voice, and that is you can actually lull your viewer, your listener, into complacency, and they do nothing. And that is absolutely the worst thing that you want to have happen to you in your online video efforts. Number 5, give viewers mental redirects so they hang with you. That's a part of the pacing. You see, small redirects can help the retention of a script that may be heavy with details. Very recently, having just recorded a video that had a lot of details about the human anatomy in it, we got to a point in the voiceover where we simply inserted a sentence like this. It's where we said, "That's a lot of anatomical detail to absorb, but let's keep going." By doing that, we gave the listener just a little bit of a reprieve from a lot of heaviness, and that's an important technique that you can use in your online video. In fact, here's an example. And damaged gaps in the endothelium are just what the cholesterol needs to sneak in under the layer of shingle-like endothelial cells and lodge within your artery wall. That's a lot of anatomical detail to absorb, but let's keep going. Let's take a closer... I want to add as well, don't forget in your video to use a false close, just like you might use in a direct mail program. The false close being that you have the reader engaged and you're starting to spill out the pricing and the bonuses and the reasons why they should buy, and then the reader's expecting you just to go zipping right along quickly, right to the order right now. But what happens with the false close is you redirect for just a few moments where you take them to another part of the story. And that's very effective with video, because when you think that you've got someone built up about ready and they're just getting to that cringing point where they're like, "I'm going to hear the price, I don't want to hear the price." Fact is, redirect them for just a moment, and you're able to give just a little bit of pause and a little bit of ability for them to, again, catch their breath and stick with you. Finally, number 6, strategically delay the appearance of the Buy Now button or the Contribute or Donate button or the Ask for More Information button. And here's why. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but you don't want the viewer to take action until you believe that they are ready to take action. And I know sometimes that's a little bit hard to understand and to grasp, but it can be very, very effective. It can also help you out on reducing the number of returns and customer complaints and orders if you've given a little bit of more full disclosure before they have the ability to make that purchase or take that action. That's it for today, folks. 6 takeaways from video sales letters that you can use in your online video marketing programs. So with that, we're closing for today. Thank you very much for sticking with us, and we'll see you next time.